Hi, team. So I want to start by saying great work. Of course, now that we've heard Jeff talk, we realize there was a key piece of information that didn't come out in the case or in question period, which was the fact that clients actually visit Ludique more than we had known. So that's life, right? Information comes out as you go. That said, when I look at the decisions you made through your recommendation and through your process, given the information that you had, I think they're excellent. I think you folks did a great job. So I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail, and I will be giving you feedback on the different aspects of the documents that I have. So how can Ludique increase revenue from its current customer segment? So I think it seems that your short-term goal is more visits from Ludique customers, and your long-term goal is to address every professional in Montreal by 2025. And I wasn't sure how they connected, so just a point of clarity. So your idea is to increase purchase frequency, and Jeff has discussed that. In terms of criteria, I had one question. Is it relevant to the identified market? Does it negatively impact brand? Can it be implemented with ease? Those are strong. I had a question about, is it measurable? And the reason I had a question about that is that, so let's say you had an idea that could reach, you would estimate thousands of people, but you didn't know exactly how many. Versus an idea that you could count precisely how many people it would reach, but it only would reach, 24 people. This criterion would suggest that you would choose the latter option because it's measurable. So I wasn't exactly sure about the rationale behind this criterion. Why do you see measurability as important as relevance to identified target market, impact on brand, and ease of implementation? So something for you to think about. One more thing I would say about this document was I really thought there was something very interesting behind your idea of Ludique setting the standard of what a stylist should be. So this type of messaging has proven to work in other industries. If you think of the rule about how much to spend on an engagement ring, this rule came from a diamond company's marketing campaign. I thought that was a really interesting concept, that because styling is so young, that Ludique would have an opportunity perhaps to define what it means, and that there might be, in terms of what's the underlying principle, there might be something there. If I turn to your process document, so great street shot of Ludique, of the street that it's on. I think I had questions. Oh, so what I notice about your process is that when I look at your boards, they're messy. And I do not say that in a negative way, right? I'm curious about what your experience was with these boards. So are they messy? So some teams, they have everything sort of very neatly in different little piles, and yours kind of is like sticky notes piled on top of each other. And I'm curious about, and what it says is that your tools were emails and Linoit. So did you use also some kind of synchronous? How did you make sense of that board as a team? Were you also on Skype at all, making sense of it? What was the impact for you? Did you look at this and get inspired by all these ideas, or did you feel confused or lost? So again, this isn't to say a judgment. It's just because I'm able to see many, many teams and what their boards look like. And I noticed that yours is particularly just decorated with stuff. And it might be worthwhile for you to reflect on the impact in terms of how, when you move forward with creativity, you would like to use these kind of brainstorming, whether it's Linoit or whether it's face-to-face sticky notes. I'd also be curious about how the pictures worked out. Did they make a difference in terms of your process? When I look at the formulating the challenge, converging, I noticed that Joanne seemed to always be building, she wrote in red, and be building on the ideas of others. And again, I'd be curious about the impact of that or not on the team process. That is, of course, one of the principles that, to build on the ideas of others. And it seems like your team really did put that into practice. What was the impact? I don't have comments on every page. I have one more comment about the criteria. I wasn't sure. So when you have criteria, you're always assessing for feasibility. Is it doable? And desirability. Will it get us where we want to go? And so you have three. No, you have two: ease of implementation and ability to measure. Relevance to target market is, will it reach the target market and impact a brand? When we talked about this, will it negatively impact the brand? I was wondering about relevance to target market. So, okay, so what it doesn't have here is reach, right? So you might have an idea that's highly relevant to the target market, but it only reaches, again, 12 people. And according to these criteria, it would come across as very strong, as opposed to something. It would come across as equal to something that's very relevant to the target market and reaches 2,000 people, right? In fact, if you could measure the first one and not measure the second one, that first one would come across as stronger. So I wonder if you need something about reach in your criteria. That is all, folks. This is really strong from a process perspective, very strong, and I think I think that you did plant some really great seeds with Jeff as well. First of all, it's really interesting that he doesn't use any kind of mass emails, and it seems like you sort of gave him the idea of how might he personalize that, or how might not be feasible for him to be writing, beautifully handcrafted notes to every single client. Plus, he might, as he pointed out, he's missing out on the clients who are in his database who he hasn't been in touch with in a couple of years. So I think you've clarified the problem and you're heading in a direction that Jeff needs. And now I look forward to your next iteration. Thank you.